All right, folks. We're here with the JJ Report. We are with a semi-exclusive with the Bergano Dentistry case that was happening over at Federal District Court in Norfolk. And we have our two protagonists.
Hello.
And word is, per Andy Fox, Andy on your side, that you did get a result this week. Can you tell my audience? Let's introduce ourselves. On my left is Edwina Bergano. You're the office manager, correct, Edwina? Or you pretty much run things.
Yeah, dental administrator, that's the more current word for it. Running the practice, keeping track of things.
And to my right is the artiste. Allan, you are the dentist. You've been practicing in Virginia Beach for 33 years, correct?
Since 1983.
You went to dentistry school where?
University of Washington.
You were the first Phil Am graduate.
Yes. The University of Washington, also the first Filipino practice dentistry in the state of Virginia.
Gotcha. So I think our audience pretty much has been kept abreast. I mean, this case has been going on for how long now, Edwina?
2 years.
Okay. You had the verdict, or you had a judgment in February, and then take us through what happens after that.
Well, in February, Judge Morgan ruled that the city was guilty of 3 counts, and that we were scheduled on April 19th to discuss damages. And on April 19th, the city's attorneys were not available. The city attorneys did not have information available about damages and how other dentists were awarded, and Judge Morgan felt it was a waste of time to discuss this issue, and so he moved rescheduled this specific issue on this matter for June, and then came back and said we're going to have that on May 25th.
Okay.
So on May 25th, which is just recently, we came to court. Prior to earlier that week, we have decided to settle with the city in order to prevent any further legal costs. It would have cost taxpayers more money to fight against us, and we wanted to secure the fact that we set precedent that the city of Virginia Beach is guilty of not treating small businesses fairly. We will also preserve the win for the law firm that represented us, and as well as Judge Morgan's rule on what was going on, and that he would not, his decision would not be reversed. If we had gone further, there was no guarantee of those situations.
And Allan, as we spoke earlier, eminent domain, if they had initially settled with you guys or given you what was possibly due based on the other prior cases with other dentists, federal money would have kicked in, and the state or the taxpayer money for Virginia, and particularly for this area, would have only been how much, approximately? Wouldn't that have been a very low amount? Had they just settled or given you the award based on federal eminent domain laws? Edwina?
Oh, I thought you were asking him the
I'm
question.
sorry. Well, either one. Sorry.
Well, did you want to say something about this? It's already spoken.
Keep going.
Okay. Do you think, Edwina?
According to our attorneys, when they did their research, some reporters did some research, the federal and state would have paid 90% of relocation fees, and the state would have just paid $10,000. Instead, this case is costing the city of Virginia Beach, with both lawyers and our fee, $1 million case.
And that's because the lawyer fees are upwards of $300,000.
Yes.
The settlement was
$175.
right. So they spent that much money to get you a number a little bit lower than what they had settled
It's
with.
very irresponsible for the city of Virginia Beach to behave this way, because this is, the city has other priorities rather than legal costs. And it appears that the city does not have a budget to deal with legal issues, nor have a due process of dealing with small businesses. And this is very irresponsible of our leaders, and we're going to make that change.
Was that something that came out in court when the judge asked them for their procedures and how they come to a number for a particular business?
Yes, that was asked for them in court, and they were not prepared to answer.
They had no process?
No, that's correct.
Gotcha. So you settled, you could have stayed in longer, right, Mr. Bergano?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
What made you,
Based on
it's a
other
money thing,
dentists.
obviously, right? They were dragging and stalling. But what else kind of prompted you to settle?
Well, we have to. They threatened, not threatened, but more than likely they would have appealed whatever decision or amount that Judge Morgan would come up with. In addition to that, we wanted to protect Judge Morgan's ruling. So if we settled at that amount, we preserved that ruling of Judge Morgan, because he really stuck his neck out for us, and he really believed that we were, mistreated, that our constitutional rights were violated, and we were deprived relocation benefits because we are a displaced person. The city tried to do all the techniques or
Technicality.
they try to dig up all these technicalities, and they have a wealth of resources versus the resources that we have, and in the long run it would have been very costly for taxpayers, and it took a lot of time on our part to continue. So rather than fighting more for what we deserved, we decided to cut our losses and just take what we have and have that guaranteed. And so the bottom line is, the city, we absorbed the city's best shot, and as a result, the judge found the city guilty of depriving our constitutional rights under the equal protection, for lack of due process, and also the deprivation of relocation funds due to us. And since that ruling, they cannot challenge that ruling now because we settled. Now we have that order. We took the city's best shot. They lost. We won. Now it's going to be our turn, because a lot of people think that this is the end of it. This is the end of the lawsuit. We are complete. We're going to do things to make changes down at that city hall, because it's not right when you're wasting. Now you're talking about $1 million here, and that could have been easily settled in the very beginning and not even have lawyers. Some of the changes that we're talking about is why even have city attorneys if they're not even going to go to trial? There's got to be a better system here. There's no checks and balances, like Edwina said. There's no budget, and so we're going to be looking into that. And this is more than just a lawsuit here. This is going to be a definite key, or I'd say for us to continue. We are going to make changes, or help make changes, to make Virginia Beach a better place, a more functional place, a more inclusive place. Because like I said, when you look at the other dentists that received compensation, you had 2 white males who received anywhere between $270,000 to $300,000. You had an African American female. She received $500,000. When it comes to the Filipino, 0.
And Edwina, just like we talked about at lunch earlier, not only did they move that prior hearing, you said that they had how many motions that they threw at you guys in the last week?
Well,
the city did.
I think what was the main reason too is because we felt that we gave the best legal defense as far as what the city owes us. Unfortunately, the city didn't feel that way, and they were positioning themselves to appeal the case and go to another judge, and we didn't want to take that risk. But what's more important, like what Allan is saying, is that the case is over, but to really ensure that citizens are treated equal, to ensure especially small businesses to have a process, we are going to take our issue and to make the citizens of Virginia Beach be aware as to how city government is working and to be more transparent. We pay taxes, but where's the transparency as far as defense regarding city issues and legal issues, and why is there an endless money pit as far as spending legal dollars against citizens who have worked in this community, who have contributed to society, who is part of this integral making Virginia Beach a better place to live, but yet as small businesses, we are not treated that way. So we're going to take it to city government, and you will not regret it.
And Alan, that was part of the sentiments that Judge Morgan stated in his ruling, correct? He spoke about you being in practice for 30 years.
Yeah, we've instead of just confining ourselves to this dental practice, we are out in the community and
Yeah.
very visible in the community. We worked with our youth. For the past 20 years, you don't hear of gang problems here in the city of Virginia Beach because we're on top of it, saving thousands and thousands of dollars that can be easily incurred because of the gang issues if it occurred. But due to our programs that we instituted in high school, which is still ongoing over 25 years, there is no gang problem. And now we also bring our programs bring money to the city, such as Phil Fest, where the past 2 years we set the world record in Tinickling. Our first year, last year we had Miss Universe come to Virginia Beach. This is the type of advertising, or I would say, how we advertise the city of Virginia Beach. Everybody says, "Wow, this is happening," and we bring tax dollars. We uplift the image of Virginia Beach, and yet they treat us like this. And the reason why, the main thing is that if the city is going to treat people like us the way they did, now imagine if you had a common person, So nobody is safe here, because if they could do this to me, they could do it to you, they could do it to anybody. But what they fail to recognize is that this is not over. We have yet begun to fight.
And Edwina, what's the name of your law firm? You spoke about how they were going to recoup their attorney fees. And what a great law firm.
Waldo and Lyle, they were so concerned about where the direction of this legal case is going. And they are fighting now to get their attorney fees paid, which they have every right to. So that's where we are in the process.
Okay, so they did not take... the settlement money went to you guys, obviously.
Yes, the settlement
and they're
money
going to get
went to
their
us,
money
and
separately.
they're getting their fees. So we're working with them for